John Miller, a long-haul trucker nearing 65, felt as forgotten as a dusty postcard in a forgotten drawer. Jobless, luckless, and alone, his birthday loomed, a bleak milestone marking years of quiet desperation. Then a knock. It wasn't the taxman or a long-lost relative bearing tidings of joy. No, this was something else, something that would shatter his world, then painstakingly piece it back together, stronger than before. It all started years earlier, on a Wednesday morning, the kind of unremarkable day that bleeds into the next. A gray Los Angeles sky hung heavy, the air thick with the scent of exhaust, and something else, something poignant. He was making a routine delivery, a small haul of recyclables, nothing special. He rounded a corner, the worn tires of his rig bumping over potholes. When he saw them, a woman, etched with exhaustion, stood silently on the curb. Beside her, 2 children. A boy clutching a worn baseball, a girl clutching a one-eyed doll. Their meager belongings, a mattress strapped with duct tape, a rusted stove, a broken chair, overflowing black garbage bags, formed a pathetic tableau of homelessness. He rolled down his window. No pleas for help, just the silent misery of a family adrift. He pulled over. "Hop in," he said, his voice rough but kind, the word a lifeline thrown into gray expanse of their despair. He had no idea then that this single act of kindness would rewrite not only their story, but his own. Because this wasn't just about a trucker, a woman, and 2 kids on a bleak Los Angeles street. This was the beginning of an unlikely family, forged in the crucible of unexpected generosity, proving that sometimes, even on the grayest of days, the smallest act of compassion can create a ripple of hope that changes lives forever. You think you know how this story ends? Think again. He'd offered a lift, a seemingly random act of kindness, and the woman stared at him, bewildered. "Free? You're giving us a free ride?" "Seriously?" she'd asked, a weary smile playing on her lips. She didn't argue. She scooped up her youngest, the older child scrambling in beside them. He loaded their meager belongings, just enough to survive, into the back of his truck. The drive was quiet, punctuated only by the hum of the engine. At the Chicago shelter, he unloaded everything himself, handing over a few extra bags of clothes before a simple wave goodbye. Then a child's whisper, chillingly clear, snaked its way into the silence. "If I work hard, things will get better. I'll give Mom a good life." The man stopped, a knot tightening in his chest. "Say that again, son," he rasped. The boy repeated it, eyes brimming with hope. He didn't answer, just nodded, swallowing hard, a lump forming in his throat. He drove away, the boy's words echoing in the quiet cabin. That night, sleep evaded him. He tossed and turned, flicking the TV on and off, staring at a faded photo of his mother, his own childhood flashing before his eyes. By 6:45 the next morning, he was at the shelter, a key clutched in his hand, the key to a small house in suburban New York, a place he occasionally rented out. The woman's confusion was palpable. "You again? You brought something else for us," she stammered. "It's a simple place, but it's clean and safe. Stay as long as you need." "I can't afford it." "It's free," he said softly. Tears streamed down her face. Her children looked on, their faces a mixture of wonder and relief. "Someone helped me once," he explained, his voice cracking slightly. "And your son reminded me who I was. I don't want him to think he's alone." Her hug was fierce, a silent thank you. He had no idea that this single decision would irrevocably alter the course of his life. 8 years passed. He was still on the road, though the miles felt heavier now. 65 years will do that to a man. His back ached every morning. His once steady hands now trembled with the cold. But he persevered. The road was his life, all he'd ever known. His birthday fell on a Sunday. Zelia, his wife, had prepared a lovely lunch, surrounded by their children and grandchildren. It should have been a joyful occasion. Yet a strange emptiness gnawed at him. To make matters worse, his truck had been in the shop for weeks. Every time they said it was ready, another problem surfaced: the transmission, the engine, the electrical system, each repair chipping away at his savings. A trucker without a truck is like a sailor without a sea. "Everything all right, honey?" Zelia asked, placing a plate of rice before him. Yeah, just thinking. About what? She prompted gently. Mrs. Oliveira waved away her husband's anxieties with a dismissive flick of her hand. Nonsense, dear, just worries, even though she knew better. The aroma of a hearty feast. Black beans, rice, crackling farofa, collard greens, and a decadent chocolate cake filled their home. Grandchildren squealed in the backyard, their laughter a joyful counterpoint to the weight on S.C.U. Oliveira's chest. Just as they were about to sit down, a sharp, decisive rap echoed at the front door. Dona Zelia answered to find a young man, impeccably dressed in a sharp suit and polished shoes, standing beside a luxury car under the afternoon sun. He looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine. Mr. Oliveira lives here, I presume? He asked. Dona Zelia, after a slight hesitation, called her husband. S.C.U. Oliveira, someone to see you, very well-dressed young man. S.C.U. Oliveira, shuffling in his usual slow gait, a slightly askew cap perched on his head and a napkin clutched in his hand, approached the gate. The young man's gaze met his, a mixture of affection and emotion swirling in his eyes. If you did the right thing, sir, he stated firmly, everything will be all right. The napkin slipped from S.C.U. Oliveira's trembling fingers. A stunned silence hung heavy in the air. Then, a slow smile broke across S.C.U. Oliveira's face, tears welling up. Ah, just a speck of dust in my eye, he chuckled, wiping his eyes with his sleeve. Eduardo, remember me? The little boy with the marble, who wanted a better life for his mother. Words failed S.C.U. Oliveira. He embraced the young man fiercely, as if he were still that small boy from so many years ago. Is your mother? He finally managed. She's doing wonderfully, Eduardo replied. She sent me for you, to bring you home. But first, she wanted me to share your lunch. S.C.U. Oliveira beamed, his eyes still glistening. Of course, son. There's always a place at our table. Eduardo joined the family, laughing with the grandchildren, helping Dona Zelia serve more farofa, recounted his life at the university, a life transformed by a man he'd never met. After lunch, they set off. S.C.U. Oliveira had no idea what awaited him. The drive was peaceful, but his heart pounded like a drum solo. He stared out the window, seeing nothing, his mind a whirlwind of emotion. Are you sure you haven't got the wrong guy? He asked, half jokingly. Eduardo smiled reassuringly, his eyes fixed on the road. Absolutely not, Mr. Oliveira. You changed our lives. That's not something you forget. Minutes later, the landscape shifted. They were no longer in a modest neighborhood. Grand avenues, manicured lawns, and pristine sidewalks lined with magnificent homes, and luxury cars replaced the familiar streets. S.C.U. Oliveira's brow furrowed. Your mother lives here? Eduardo nodded, a quiet pride in his smile. Just wait until you see her. The car pulled up to a stunning two-story mansion, all glass facade, white columns, and a sparkling fountain. S.C.U. Oliveira slowly exited the vehicle, a gasp escaping his lips. I think I've walked onto a movie set, he whispered. The front door swung open before John could speak, revealing Sarah, the woman who'd once taken him and his two boys off the street. Tears streamed down her face, a sleeping little girl cradled in her arms, a boy clutching a basketball. She rushed to him, a hug that spoke volumes, a hug that felt like a daughter embracing her father. I just knew we'd find each other again, she choked out. He couldn't help himself, returning the embrace with a fierce, silent squeeze. A tearful whisper escaped her lips. I never said goodbye, her voice thick with unspoken longing, a wish fulfilled. David, ever the pragmatist, stepped forward. You did everything, John. We didn't do a thing. You gave us time, a safe haven, hope. Mary, who'd arrived moments earlier, watched the emotional reunion, her own eyes welling. Sarah spotted her, pulling Mary into a warm embrace as if they were lifelong friends. It's an honor to have you here, Mary, she said. Your husband's a saint, and you, for standing by him all these years. John, who'd initially just expected a meal, tried to lighten the intense emotion with a nervous joke. Wow, he blurted, a laugh breaking the tension. Sarah took a deep breath, dabbing her eyes. But we're not done yet, John. I have a gift for you. He waved her off. Nonsense, "Sweetheart, seeing you all thriving is more than enough." She glanced at Mary, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. Should I tell him, or should you? 65 years old, and Oliveira never imagined a birthday like this. He pictured himself alone. The familiar drone of the TV a dull counterpoint to the gnawing anxiety of another broken-down truck, another desperate call to the repair shop. Instead, he found himself surrounded by warmth, laughter echoing in the twilight air under a sky dusted with stars. It all started with a simple act of kindness, a chance encounter years ago that changed 3 lives irrevocably. A family shattered, left to the cold indifference of the streets. Found salvation in the heart of a stranger, a grizzled old trucker who stopped, who saw, who cared enough to lend a hand. That stranger was Oliveira. He'd almost forgotten the incident, dismissed it as another day on the road. But Julia hadn't. Months she'd spent piecing together the story of his quiet generosity, the countless acts of unseen kindness that rippled outwards, touching lives far beyond his own. This wasn't some repayment of a debt. It was a heartfelt tribute, a testament to the quiet heroism that often goes unnoticed. A brand new truck, gleaming under the night sky, a symbol of the seeds he'd sown, now blossomed into a tangible expression of gratitude. The paperwork was simple, the ownership transferred, but the real gift lay in a handwritten letter, its words a poignant echo of a life transformed. Reading aloud, his voice thick with emotion, Oliveira felt the weight of unspoken thanks, the profound impact of his seemingly small gesture. It wasn't just a roof he provided, but dignity, hope, a lifeline in a world that often forgets to look down. And in that moment, surrounded by the joyous cacophony of laughter and the comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the old adage finally clicked into place. What goes around comes around. The circle was complete. The kindness returned, amplified 1,000-fold, a testament to the enduring power of empathy and the simple, profound act extending a helping hand. The cake was delicious, the company even better, and as the night deepened, Oliveira, Zelia, Julia, Eduardo, and Carla laughed, a newfound family forged in the crucible of gratitude and shared memories. He choked up, unable to speak. Instead, he just pulled Jessica, Michael, Cindy, and Beth into a hug, a silent understanding washing over him. It hadn't been about the trailer or the message. It was about the seed he'd sown, expecting nothing and reaping a bountiful harvest. As everyone prepared to leave, Michael whispered, "You know, someday I want to be just like you, Mr. Miller." Miller smiled, the kind of smile a father gives an unexpected son. Then, "Son," he said, "you're on the right track. Do what's right and you can't go wrong." It was just a kid's dream, rescuing his family. But for Miller, it was a life-altering promise. And today, every mile crunching under his tires, every engine's rumble, every quiet act of kindness, that promise echoes. If you love that story, wait till you hear the next one. A trucker finds a heartbroken bride on a roadside, lost and alone, until something truly amazing happens. Click the screen to continue this thrilling ride. I'll be waiting. This young man's journey, a roller coaster of challenges and triumphs, culminated in a moment of profound personal and familial fulfillment. His unwavering persistence and honesty, values deeply ingrained throughout his life, proved the catalyst for transforming his reality. The simple promise whispered to the wise, seasoned trucker Miller acts as a beacon, guiding him toward a bright future. The embrace of his loved ones marked the apex of his struggle, a victory over adversity. Irrefutable proof that love and perseverance conquer all. His journey isn't over, but the path is clear now, illuminated by the burning hope and commitment to his family. The road ahead is long and winding, but it's paved with the promise of a future built on hard work and kindness. Every haul, every delivery, every act of selfless help are steadfast steps towards his dreams, securing a future for his family. Success isn't measured in material wealth, but in the hard-won happiness and family unity born from his struggle, perseverance, and unwavering self-belief. Michael's story reminds us that, however daunting the climb, the path to personal fulfillment and familial happiness remains open to those who persevere, believe in their dreams, and act with kindness and integrity.